Yes, I wonder what's the payoff. I don't think it's money.
Okay.
What?
I gotta stop.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bob, I would like to just jump in because I don't know, I think most everybody knows me, knows that I'm a volunteer firefighter and EMT here with District 26. And to elaborate on your comment about having a public records request, I hadn't even been sworn in. It was right after my election. The fire department had a request for all emails from Florence Martin, or Davy Martin. Now, it cost the fire department, and the fire department is just like the rest of us, it is hurting for money. It cost the fire department to satisfy, to take care of this public records request. The fire department, not even the city, is now involved.
I'm gonna have to get up and say something.
Commissioner Mike.
Commissioner Mike, yes indeed.
Mike Moore, 103 Croft, and yes, I've volunteered a couple hours myself since I've been here. I thought that I haven't heard anybody bring this up. Why is it that all the small towns, why is it all the fourth-class cities are getting sued? And all the small departments are getting sued? I don't care whether it's the fire department, police department, small town. And I think part of the big trouble is our politicians down in Olympia that made these laws, they're all made for the big boys. They didn't think about the little people when they did this, heck no. I think it's about time somebody ought to jump on those people down there too, because they made the trouble for us in the long run. And just give you something to think about anyway, because it's just all these small fourth-class cities that are being sued right now, it's just, the lawyers and the courts are just having a ball. And I think the real guilty people are the ones down in Olympia. Anyway, I'm kind of throw that in.
For a comment, bigger areas are getting sued also. Snohomish County, I think, spends about $1 million a year
Yeah.
on public records requests and support. They recently, Mark Rose talked about he can't prosecute all the bad guys who show up because he doesn't have the staff, but the county council approved one full-time attorney and a full-time paralegal to handle public records request issues. So, breaking and entering takes a walk, but processing four-year-old attorney-client emails gets support. And that's just the way it is.
I just had one last thing. So, the council voted for representation for me. It's not them as much that I have to thank, but to thank you guys. Because it's your tax dollars that are paying for it. And it's not our money, it's your money, okay? It's not all their money, or their money, it's all of our money. I pay my taxes just as well. But, we're here because, we're voted to be here, and we need to spend the money wisely and not on, these type of activities. This is not why we're here, is to do this type of stuff. But, it happens, and so we have to do what we need to do. But, there are a ton of other things that we could be putting money towards. We have a city sign that was taken out that would be done. We've got, you need to think about it, because, I don't know what the tally is of litigation right now, but it's disturbing. And unfortunately, it's a law that we have to have city attorneys, and we have to represent the city, and we have to defend the city. But, it's not us that's spending the money, it's you. So, that's something to think about, because I think about it. I mean, I know where my tax dollars are going. It's not going in my pocket, because the check I get every month goes straight to the IRS. But, you know, and yes, I've paid my taxes, it's just, I do that because I have to pay more at the end of the year every year. But, you know, we have services that we're dedicated and required to provide, and we provide them, but we don't provide them to the level that we can. I mean, we can do so much better as a city and provide services to you. And unfortunately, we've really had to cut those services back, and as you guys all know, you know, some of you that live out on the outs, you know, the back roads back there, we can't even plow snow, you know, because we just don't have the money to do it. But, you know, it's not our money. This is your guys' money. So, I apologize for having to do it, but, it's a law.
Chris, can you make one statement?
What's that?
Do you have a homeowners association?
No, we do not.
Thank you.
No.
So you didn't get anything free over there?
I never got anything free, we paid
Thank
for
you.
everything. I think a homeowners was discussed through the builders or developers or something, but I'm a home buyer, right? I move in after the houses are built and I buy the house, and if there's no deed or any covenants that come with it, you know, that's not on me, I'm sorry, but, there are covenants filed with the county, if somebody wants to go up and grab a copy of it. It's one page, and it says that I need to maintain my septic system.
So
And
you're
that's
not
a,
getting,
that's a city.
you're not getting free stormwater, I mean, the
Getting a little
council did.
Okay, we're getting off time,
Okay, we're
okay,
getting off
I've
topic.
been called down by the attorney, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you,
Josh, we
attorney.
have to-
Thank
we
you.
have to muzzle Dorothy.
I
All right,
know.
I'm done.
Any more citizen comments?
I have a question. If our attorney is still here, my question to her about negotiation, can that be answered?
You wanna take a shot at that? Anne Marie has not been involved in it the whole time. The answer there, we've got, what have we got open? We got the appeal. We've got the one on the, redactions. Number 2 on redactions, number 3 on appeal. 4's waiting the results of appeal, and 5's dead in the water. Number 1 went away. You wanna make a comment about that?
I couldn't actually hear the question, because you're here.
Speak loudly again.
Oh, is it possible for a negotiated solution to this? Does it have to be either or, recall, no recall? If people have not been getting what they want, is there another solution?
Are you asking for a negotiated solution just for the recall or for all of the pending lawsuits?
Let's try all of them.
Well, I mean, that's really gonna depend on the individual, suits. I'm not actually involved with all of the suits, so I don't know what the status is currently on all of them. They're all very unique, and really it's, something that we need to discuss with the mayor and decide what the city wants to do from there.
Recall
If there's an
negotiable?
overall opinion on whether or not these can be negotiated, that's not, my decision to make, that's the city's decision to make through the mayor.
We have discussed, we have had a mediation, we have discussed settlement, and they have gone nowhere. Yeah, that doesn't mean the next one would be something.
And recall is not negotiable, it's either or?
Well, it's already filed.
It's
so-
already
I know it's filed.
Once a
Why
lawsuit,
is it 5 people can
What-
file a
what-
recall?
It's a law.
One person can do
It's a
it.
law.
Oh my God.
Once a lawsuit hits the courts, okay? Once it hits, you go into a whole new world. There's a whole bunch of rules, there's a whole bunch of ways to go, and you have to make your decisions in that light. Coming out of private industry, particularly in engineering, you're always solving problems all the time, day in and day out. And engineers don't have a really high expectation of a lawsuit actually solving anything. It's just the nature of it. So, and I'm not gonna go any further, because
You know,
I.
and we can
Oh, we're-
negotiate all day long, and even if we come to an agreement, we can't afford it. So,
Well, okay, we're
Way
wandering
too
off.
far.
We're way off track here.
This is
Here,
a
here.
special meeting, I think we've answered all the questions. Yes, Mr. White?
Question for the attorney. Let's say this all goes to court and it's in a favor for the city. What's it gonna stop them from refiling it over again and over again and over again? Isn't there a point where this finally gets to the point where these lawsuits are just frivolous and we can put a stop to it?
I'm gonna answer for Anne Marie, if you
Okay,
don't mind. Is that okay with you?
if you wanna go ahead.
Okay. We've gotten a judgment on one for a contempt of court. We did not get a judgment on another one for frivolous. Wasn't frivolous enough, basically. The city does take this seriously and do what we can to defend it. But no, I don't know of any simple path to stem repeated lawsuits over various claims.
But do take note that the court does have the authority to award sanctions on its own without a motion by the city. If the court makes its own determination that these petitions or lawsuits are being brought for the purpose of harassment and that they're frivolous, the court can do that on their own.
So,
Hey,
one
She
more,
has a lot better answer than I do.
I like her answer.
I keep going, I always try to help her out, you know, and it just doesn't do that much.
So one other question in that regard. I wanted to actually say something else about Susan's request up here, but one other question in that regard. Can the citizens, I know the city cannot take legal action to halt these suits, but can the citizens take class action because it's their money that's being spent?
That is not something that I have looked into. I take my direction from the mayor. If that was something you wanted me to look into, I could, but I cannot give an answer on that right now.
Public
Okay.
records laws. Good idea.
is that something that would have to be brought up at a council meeting to ask the mayor to,
I think
Go
that would
forward on
be,
that.
I would think that would be more of a workshop issue. There's all sorts of interacting laws for this and that, depending on what's being done. And that is well beyond scope of just a council meeting. I mean, it's a law course. Yes, ma'am, you wish to say? Oh, okay. Bertha, do you want to say something?
Yes, I would like to say
Okay. You can say it from right there if you wish.
something. Oh, okay. I'm a former mayor of Goldbar. My name is Bertha Gilmore. I don't live here anymore, but I still feel like the town is mine. I'd love to be back here. But I was taken to court. They tried to recall me. And also, they tried to find me and get money out of me, which they didn't win. I had a good attorney and I won. But I only stayed in for 2 years because they threatened my life. They threatened to kill me, and if I didn't do what they wanted me to do, then they was gonna take my daughter and my grandchildren off instead. So I left. I sold out and left. I went to Snohomish. And I stayed there 5 months, got a chance to buy my house back, so I came back to Goldbar. But I spent 17 years on the planning board, 10 years on the council, and then I was in here for 2 years as mayor. And I tell you, a lot of people thought it was a big joke when they threatened to kill me, but it wasn't a joke. Because the sheriff department was working with me all the time, and they were mad at me because 3 of us on the council got rid of the crooked cop they had in this town. The mayor was involved with him, his children was selling stuff for deer hunt. And so I was on the council and I went to the sheriff and I said, you have to do something about this man. He's doing all this here with drugs. He's selling it right here in town. And he's keeping the money when he gets any. it's supposed to go to the city, but it's not. So, I have to get him out of there to, council to the people. And so they didn't like me after that. You know, they were really angry at me, so they were gonna try to do whatever they could. A lot of people thought it was just a big joke when they threatened to kill me. But it was no joke, because the sheriff was even, they escorted me home. I went to Monroe to do meetings, and cops would take me out so far, they called Sultan would take me so far, they called Gobar, and the Gobar Police Department would come and escort me home. And sometimes they would check on me in the morning, make sure I got okay. And, then at night when I think, Dorothy said, all the mayors didn't stay here all the time. I was here every darn day. 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. And there was only one day that I didn't come here, and I had my hair cut out. And I was gonna go to a Grace meeting that night, and the guy from the paper in Seattle came, and he said, the mayor was here with her hair up with a red bandana on. You know, the rest of the time I was dressed up. That's one of the things I insisted when I got in as mayor, that I didn't want any jeans, no sweatshirts. I wanted them to dress nice, and they did. So I had a lot of compliments on looking like we were professional, you know. And, but I went through an awful lot. So this is, it's kind of mind blowing, you know.
I agree with that. So much for the good old days, huh?
Right,
Okay.
but, I really enjoyed planning board and all that. And I just moved into town in 1972, when I married my husband, and we were going to go over to his place. And Les McCombs come and got me on the council meeting. I said, I don't know anything about the council. Well, how can I do a job? You know? So what I did was I went to Washington Association of Cities, and I said, hey, I don't want to just listen to the mayor. I want to be able to do my job right. So, they gave me all the information I needed. So then when I started fighting against him, he didn't like me.
You do what you gotta do.
That's right.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I feel that I did my job, right. Did the best I could.
That's right. That's all you can do.
Thank you. All right, has everyone about said their piece?
I invite everybody back next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, yes. So it's going once?
I have something to say after, I mean, you're asking the citizens if they have.
Okay, twice, 3 times, okay, before we adjourn, you have a comment?
Yeah, Susan said she had an open issue with you, and what you gave for justification for not providing her with what she's asked for was that the judge does not require it of you. And to me, that's insufficient.
We met the requirements, without going into the details, because this is really not the venue, I will be glad to discuss that in open meeting. I have discussed it in the past, on this. And, if you wish to put it in the agenda, and if Susan wishes to make, an appearance as an agenda item, I'm happy to do it. Again, the problem is, once you hit a lawsuit, once it hits the courts, you have to follow the rules, and now that it's in appellate court, I don't think, I think it's now waiting for the learned justices to make whatever decision they're gonna make.
So at this point, we can't, as she stated, mediate since
Oh,
it's in-
I wouldn't say that, I mean,
So if she's still willing to mediate, I think we ought to consider that.
I would
But
be
this
glad.
may not be the forum for that, but I
Okay,
don't want
I think mediation, I do not know, I'll get Anne Marie to take a look into that and see. There are things you can do, and I don't, at this point, I don't know what they are.
But didn't the court already rule on the case
Yes.
in the city's favor and
Right. So the fact that we don't
Susan
have to
Forbes
reveal is not sufficient grounds to me. There has to be some,
Well, excuse me, I don't think you have the words quite right. It's, what the court has said is that we've revealed everything we have.
No, they did
Again,
not.
Joe, I think
Yeah,
we're
we're getting,
Yeah,
we're getting off,
thank you.
we're
We're getting-
relitigating something that has been decided by the Superior Court and is at the Appellate Court. And we will just, I'll get Anne Marie, to whether we need a workshop or whatever to discuss it. And at this stage in the game, it is so far downstream
right,
that, we'll, you know, I don't know
yeah.
if mediation's a good.
I will accept whatever the decision is, but I just wanna open that, because if we're truly in a, if we truly desire to make, come to unison,
We can.
we should look at that.
We can discuss it, okay? And, I don't have any objection to that. In fact, I initiated a meeting with Susan to, on this. So, okay, I think we've gone off track enough, and, so I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
so moved?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.